everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll teach you how to be a yuppie. First things first, you murder a homeless person. Then, you take care of yourself. You wake up every day 6 a.m. sharp. You take a shower, you work out, and then you go work at your daddy's company. There, you show to everyone how incredible your taste in music is. This is American Psycho to you. And I know this premise may sound a tad too insane for everyone really, but if you've watched the movie or read the book, you know that it's truly fantastic. It's truly out of this world. I found myself rereading American Psycho with the rise of cult literature on TikTok, you know, the whole female manipulator aesthetic, Gone Girl, The Secret History, American Psycho itself. And it terrifies me. It terrifies me so much because I sense this could be a second Lolita phenomenon. You know, no shade to Lolita or American Psycho, but I see how some people, especially the younger audiences, may romanticize a story that's truly not supposed to be romanticized because it's so disturbing, but the whole aesthetic, you know, is so, well, marketable. For this reason, and many others, I wanted to review American Psycho. I want to review the most boring book I've ever read. No, this is not an overstatement. It's so effing boring. There are so many books that are so entertaining, but so awful. American Psycho is not. It's not. Every scene is awful to get through. And I'm not even talking about the gore, okay? It's so hard, it's so vapid and empty and dull. Nevertheless, it all serves a purpose. So, throughout this video, I'll try to prove to you why this boredom is the key to Patrick Bateman, our main character, and the whole book itself. As I always do before starting, let's talk about the author. Bret Easton Ellis was born in 1964 to a middle-class family in Southern California. He studied music at Bateman College in Vermont before moving towards writing and releasing his first novel, Less Than Zero, at the age of 21. But wait, there's something funny about him. You know the book I mentioned previously, The Secret History? Its author is Donna Tartt. And they studied at Bateman at the same time. They were pretty close to the point that she even dedicated The Secret History to him. Published in 1991, this novel is a visceral, disturbingly dark portrait of the 1980s, as an emotionally vacuous society in which the people in it are more and more detached from it while being less and less able to emote for anyone beyond themselves. In any historical context, you can place it at the tail end of the Wall Street boom. It is late in Ronald Reagan's second term as President of the United States, an administration that was marked by immense economic growth, deregulation of industry, the expansion of capitalism, and a crackdown on violence, crime, and drugs. In the height of US neoliberalism, we meet our protagonist, Patrick Bateman. Bateman is a personification of the darkest extreme of this lack of empathy. He is, by definition, a psychopath. So let's talk about him. Patrick Bateman is a 27-year-old executive banker living in New York City. He is a picture-perfect definition of a young, urban, professional person, a yuppie. He is calm, collective, stylish, incredibly organized, and attractive. So yes, he's basically perfect, and yes, I gave up on the glasses. But underneath his cheery beauty and professional appearance, Bateman has a secret. He's a serial killer. But wait, there's more. As the narrative continues, Bateman's grasp on reality deteriorates. He spent whole days hallucinating, and his violent tendencies intensify. He even begins to save body parts for later. But that's not important for now. Let's stick to the basics. Throughout the novel, Bateman examines every person he meets, but not through conversations or the time he spent with them, whether through clothing. A fun fact that I noticed, I'm a huge fan of Les, like huge. I got the playbill on my drawer there, and well, that's relevant, I promise. And in the first 10 pages, Bateman's on a cab, and he's looking around New York, and he says, it's not nothing important really, but he mentions that the girl on the poster is Eponine, but I know for a fact that's Cosette. Just so funny to imagine that all his descriptions are completely wrong. It seems so realistic that he's saying all these things just to sound smart. Getting back to PB, I think one of his key moments lie in the beginning, when he speaks of all the problems in the world. He speaks of apartheid, world hunger, promoting equal rights for women, homelessness, and says that we need to end it all. What a hypocrite, am I right? I actually don't think so. I think it represents mostly how society alienates individuals, and that in other circumstances he could have been a better person, not a great person, but not as crazy as he is, not as detached as he is. And this also works for me and you. No, we are alienated as well, I just hope that not to a psychotic extent, that you don't murder people. Because of this moment and other very particular moments in the novel, I mean, when we don't absolutely hate him for being the grossest human being on earth, you can see him as a person. Another example of his innate humanness is his life. It's so cool. Throughout the book, we are shown how crushingly boring PB's life in Wall Street is. The only things that matter are dinner reservations, pointless conversations, and obviously close friends. Above it all, PB has everything. He was born rich, he's attractive, he has a prestigious job, he has a beautiful apartment, he has a beautiful fiancée, and he earned none of it. He's disassociated to such an abysmal extent that the only way he can connect to the world is either through violence or through objects. This is why the only parts of the book that are remotely interesting are the violent ones. And I know how gruesome this sounds and how awful, because the manner in which the violence is being depicted, but it's true. And that's why American Psycho is so boring, because it represents Bateman's life. And the book's cold, monotone voice represents how Patrick is devoid of everything, really. His materialism is eating away his humanity. Bateman's sociopathic appetite for violence and disregard for others' humanity, the novel insists, is just the ultimate end point for a capitalist consumer culture that values only wealth and materialism and sees no inherent value in anything else. This indifference is also presented in the graphic, detailed, and prolonged scenes of rape, murder, and torture, in which he describes them as the same way he describes applying moisturizer. Ties directly to the previous topic. Throughout the novel, instances of consumers and mistaken identity contribute to a growing experience of isolation on the part of both the reader and the narrator. Bateman is repeatedly mistaken for other people. These constant moments of mistaken identity suggest that within the world of the novel, it is really important who somebody is because the character's value and knowledge of another is entirely superficial. It's his disassociation, and therefore his downfall. A topic that's frequently brought up is how American Psycho treats women. It's a valid concern because Bateman targets women and he murders them and does some pretty sick stuff to them, like actually sick stuff. And they aren't developed at all, but neither are the other characters. So this explains why if you search "Does American Psycho hate women?" you get a lot of results. Most of these websites actually say that the movie likes women, while the book doesn't. And I can see how it can appear this way, because you are reading through Patrick's perspective. You know, it's just his mind the whole time. You don't have much freedom. Whereas in the movie, you can present the characters in a different light. That's probably the most polarizing topic and the shortest one. Because, well, what do you want me to say? What happens? Was he hallucinating the whole time? Was it real? I don't think that's the point of the book. And, like, at all. So I'll no further elaborate on it. So, that's it. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any requests, please write them down in the comments. Bye!